It hit me like a ton of bricks when my wife confided in me on a scorching Saturday morning in the middle of summer. She was determined to get back at me for what she saw as flirtation at a party the previous weekend, though I hadn't laid a hand on another woman or done anything inappropriate. My wife, whom I had been with for 5 years, decided I needed to be taught a lesson. I suspected her reaction had more to do with the fact that the woman I had briefly chatted with no more than 5 minutes was Gloria, her old high school rival. Everyone has someone they butted heads with in school, and back in the day Elaine had always outshined Gloria. I think she's trying to steal my husband now that her own ran off. Elaine had shouted at me on the drive home that night. I won't let that happen. You're mine, and no one else gets to have you. I understand, I had replied calmly. But honestly, I only spoke to her for a few minutes. We joked a little, but I didn't cross any lines. I wouldn't have said or done anything different if you had been standing right beside me. Did you even notice how she kept touching your arm? The way she twirled her hair around her finger? She was giving you signals. What did you do to make her think she could openly flirt with you like that? Did she ask you to fix something at her house? Was that her excuse to get you over there and sleep with her? What? No, I exclaimed. We didn't talk about anything like that. I have no interest in going to her house, let alone doing anything inappropriate. Why are you accusing me of something I didn't do? That's exactly the problem. You didn't do anything, Elaine snapped. You didn't tell her to stop. You didn't put her in her place. And you sure as hell didn't walk away. For days the argument dragged on. Neither of us wanted to admit we were wrong. I hadn't done anything inappropriate, yet Elaine refused to let it go. Yes, Gloria had had a few too many drinks that night, and yes, she had started speaking in an oddly seductive tone about penetrating the market and enlightening her boss at the marketing firm where she worked. I had responded with some harmless teasing, but the moment I noticed her getting too into it, I backed off, making up an excuse to walk away. I wasn't about to let things escalate, and I certainly wasn't interested in cheating on my wife. But to Elaine, none of that mattered, so she came up with a plan of her own. We're going dancing tonight, she announced, arms crossed. And I'm going to flirt with every man in sight. Let's see how you like it. I won't like it, I told her flatly. Which is why I'm not going. She exploded. If you won't come with me and experience what it feels like, then I'll go alone, and I'll bring a man back here. I'll let him flirt with me right in front of you. Elaine, if you do that, I swear I'll throw you out. That's blatant disrespect, and I won't tolerate it, I warned. Oh, but you flirting with Gloria was totally fine, she shot back. You acted like it was no big deal, like she was just any other woman at the party. But when I do it, suddenly it's a problem. You flirted with women before, and I never made a fuss about it. If you bring a man into this house to rub it in my face, that's crossing a line, I stated firmly. That's exactly what I'm going to do, she smirked. You need to learn a lesson, and tonight is the perfect time. What about you? I fired back. Are you seriously going to tell me you've never flirted? Because I've seen you do a lot more than what Gloria did with me. She scoffed. That's ridiculous. I don't flirt like that. Elaine. She practically asked me to throw her over the couch and have my way with her in front of everyone. I snapped. And now you want to bring a man into our house just to prove a point? You better believe it, she said, her voice laced with defiance. I'll find someone, and I'll show you exactly what it feels like. You already have, I muttered, my anger boiling over. I'm standing here watching my wife disrespect me in real time. Couldn't hold back anymore. The words spilled out before I could stop them. You know what? I doubt you could even find a man dumb enough to go along with this plan, especially if you have to offer yourself up to get him to do it. Elaine's eyes narrowed. She tilted her chin up, staring at me with a look that told me I had just thrown down a challenge she had every intention of meeting. Oh, you think so? She sneered. Watch me. There are plenty of men who would jump at the chance. And if they get to rub it in your face, even better. I stood there, my jaw clenched, as she stormed out of the room, her voice carrying down the hall. You'll regret flirting with Gloria and crossing me. Eric, you lousy son of a... The bedroom door slammed before she could finish. That was the last I saw of her until she started getting ready to leave. There were a few things to understand about us first. I wasn't just some guy. In high school and college, I had been a varsity soccer player, standing at 6 feet 4 inches and in peak physical shape. Even now, I was in better shape than I had been back then. Second, we lived in a small town, and I do mean small. Everyone knew everyone by name. I had built a good reputation here. People liked and respected me. That being said, I was well aware that after a few drinks, some guys might not think twice about going along with Elaine's reckless scheme. But there was only one guy in town cocky enough to actually try it. What a coincidence, it was my old high school nemesis, Woody Floyd. Back in the day, Woody had been one of the few guys who could go toe-to-toe with me in a fair fight. He was a big, burly guy, and even now he carried himself like he could still take on the world. The only difference, I had stayed in shape. Woody, on the other hand, had taken to lifting weights, the kind that came in a bottle. And I already knew exactly where to find him on Saturday nights and a few other nights during the week. Woody Floyd could always be found sitting on the last stool at Rainbow's End Bar and Grill. So while Elaine primed herself for whatever stunt she was about to pull, I spent my afternoon handling my usual lawn care chores and tinkering in the garage. But in the back of my mind, I was already piecing together a plan. Because if Elaine's pride led her to Rainbow's End that night, I needed to be ready. Had I been thinking rationally, I might have swallowed my pride and apologized. Even I knew that I had crossed a line no married man should ever approach. But anger clouded my judgment, and before I could rein in my temper, the words had left my mouth. Words I regretted the moment the door slammed behind Elaine. When she finally emerged from our bedroom, she was exactly as I had expected. Dressed to impress, every detail of her appearance carefully curated to make a statement. She fussed with her purse, checked her keys for the third time, and generally made a grand show of herself, ensuring I noticed. Breaking the silence, I tried to bridge the gap. Elaine, I owe you an apology. I shouldn't have said that. Her expression was cold. It's too late for apologies, Eric. I'm going on a date tonight, and I'm bringing home a real man to show you what it feels like. If that means sleeping with him, so be it. Elaine, please don't do this to us. You started it when you flirted with Gloria. This is your punishment, so you'll think twice next time. With that, she grabbed her keys and made her way to the garage door. As she walked out, she threw one last taunt over her shoulder. I'd say don't wait up, but that would ruin my plans. She laughed, a cruel, mocking sound, and slammed the door behind her. I stormed after her, wrenching the door open. If you bring another man into this house, you won't like what happens, I warned. She smirked and flipped me off before getting into her car and driving away. Left alone, I ate a quick meal and put my plan into motion. 30 minutes later, I called my friend Stan, a regular at Rainbow's End, the local bar. Sure enough, he confirmed that Elaine was there, hanging around Woody Floyd, the only man in town cocky enough to take her up on her reckless challenge. Stan described the scene. Elaine and Woody dancing provocatively, putting on a show for the crowd, making sure everyone noticed them. Though Woody had tried pushing things further, Elaine hadn't let it escalate. Yet, she was putting on a performance, and I was her intended audience. I wasn't about to let her have the last word. By the time she returned home around 10:30, she and Woody had made sure the whole neighborhood witnessed their drunken display, shouting flirtatious nonsense and sharing exaggerated kisses on the front lawn before finally stumbling through the front door. I sat calmly in my chair, newspaper in hand, pretending not to see them as they entered. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught Woody's arm snaking around Elaine's waist, pulling her close. Hey, loser, Woody sneered. Elaine and I had a hell of a time tonight. You should have seen her dancing, damn. She's got some moves. And now she's invited me over to your place. Says she wants me to spend a night with her in your bed. He laughed. She made my night, man. I can't wait to see her naked. Not that I don't already have a good idea. She let me get a feel. I folded my newspaper and looked up, my voice eerily calm. No, Woody, you don't understand. Woody chuckled. Oh, I think I do. That's always been your problem, Eric. You don't think. He turned to Elaine. Right, babe? Elaine lifted her chin defiantly. That's right. I'm going to sleep with him, and there's nothing you can do about it. Woody smirked. So what's your move, tough guy? Going to throw a tantrum? You don't have the muscle or the guts to stop me. Why don't you take a swing? Give us a reason to call the cops. I'll have you arrested, and while you're sitting in a cell, I'll be right here taking good care of your wife. I didn't flinch. I'm not going to lift a finger, I said. And you two aren't going anywhere near my bedroom tonight. Elaine scoffed. Oh yeah? And just how do you plan to stop us? I smiled. One word. Witnesses. At my signal, the front door burst open and in marched Elaine's mother and sister, their faces thunderous with fury. How could you do this to a good man like Eric? Her mother demanded. I thought I raised you better than this. Right behind them stood Woody's wife and mother-in-law, their shocked expressions priceless. Woody yanked his arm away from Elaine as if she'd suddenly caught fire. Then the verbal onslaught began. Elaine and Woody found themselves at the mercy of an enraged group of women who attacked them with the ferocity of Black Friday shoppers fighting over the last sale item. I calmly lifted my newspaper again, pretending not to enjoy the spectacle, but the slight tremble of the pages must have given me away. For 20 relentless minutes, Elaine and Woody endured a storm of accusations, disappointment, and humiliation. Eventually, Woody's mother-in-law grabbed him by the ear and dragged him toward the door, his wife following close behind. Looks like he won't be getting any action for a while, I muttered. Elaine's mother and sister kept berating her for another 10 minutes. She sat frozen on the couch, looking as if she wished the earth would swallow her whole, and her sister shook her head. So let me get this straight. You pulled this whole stunt because Eric flirted with Gloria Green for 5 minutes? She let out a disgusted laugh. You're unbelievable. I was at that party, Elaine. I saw everything. Eric didn't do a damn thing wrong. In fact, I heard him excuse himself just to get away from her. And you decide to pull this? Silence hung in the air. Carol, Elaine's mother, sighed. We should go. You two have a lot to work through. I nodded. Take her with you. Elaine's head snapped up. What? I need some space, I said flatly. I don't trust myself to be around you right now. Carol hesitated. Eric, I understand why you want a break from her, but you can't work things out if she's not here. Besides, if you were going to lose your temper, you would have done it already. I exhaled, rubbing my temple. Yeah, but what about my safety? I winked. Carol smirked. You'll be fine. She's the one who should be worried if she ever pulls a stunt like this again. With that, they left, leaving me alone with Elaine. I turned on the TV, leaning back in my chair. From the far end of the couch, her voice came, small and uncertain. I can't believe you called my mother. In love and war, all means are fair, I replied. And tonight, this was both. I grabbed the remote. You're sleeping in the guest room. Good night, Elaine.